Have you ever wondered how a single decision can irrevocably alter the fabric of history? On a chilly December night in 1926, renowned mystery writer Agatha Christie vanished from her home, leaving behind a cloud of speculation and a car abandoned by a lake. For 11 days, the world was gripped by her mysterious disappearance, sparking a massive manhunt and even involving the likes of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who sought psychic help to locate her. When she was finally found in a Harrogate hotel, claiming amnesia, the enigma only deepened. Was it a nervous breakdown, a cry for help, or a brilliantly orchestrated publicity stunt? The truth remains as elusive as any of her celebrated whodunits. Imagine a brilliant mind who cracked the Enigma code, saving countless lives during World War II, only to be persecuted by the very nation he helped protect. Alan Turing, the father of modern computing, was a visionary whose life ended in darkness. Despite his monumental contributions to cryptography and artificial intelligence, Turing faced relentless scrutiny for his homosexuality. In 1952, he was chemically castrated, an inhumane punishment that left him physically and emotionally scarred. Just 2 years later, in 1954, Turing was found dead from cyanide poisoning, an apparent suicide. His death remains one of history's most tragic ironies, a genius who illuminated the path to the future, extinguished by the prejudices of his time. Can fame shield one from tragedy? On an ordinary day in 1948, the world was shocked by the untimely death of Carol Landis, the blonde bombshell of Hollywood. Known for her vivacious spirit and striking beauty, Landis seemed to have it all: a burgeoning film career, star-studded social life, and adoring fans. But behind the glamorous facade lay a woman tormented by personal demons and a tumultuous love affair with actor Rex Harrison. On July 5, 1948, unable to cope with the despair of an unrequited love and her crumbling mental health, Landis ended her life with a lethal dose of Seconal in her Brentwood home. Her tragic death at the age of 29 left Hollywood reeling, a stark reminder that even the brightest stars can succumb to the darkest shadows. What happens when a celebrated entertainer's life spirals from fame to infamy? This is the haunting story of Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle, a silent film star whose career took a nosedive following scandalous accusations. Once a beloved comedian, Arbuckle's life shattered in 1921 after being accused of the rape and manslaughter of actress Virginia Rupé. Although he was acquitted after 3 trials, the damage was done, his films were banned, and his reputation was irrevocably tarnished. Struggling to find work and battling public scorn, Arbuckle's health deteriorated. In a cruel twist of fate, just as he began to see a glimmer of hope with a new film contract, he succumbed to a heart attack at the age of 46 in 1933. His tragic end serves as a grim reminder of how swiftly fortunes can reverse, leaving behind a legacy marked by both laughter and heartbreak. Imagine a promising life cut short in the blink of an eye, much like James Dean's fatal car crash. But this time, the spotlight falls on Isadora Duncan, the revolutionary dancer whose life ended in a tragic and bizarre accident. On a serene September day in 1927, Duncan, known for her free-spirited dance and bohemian lifestyle, stepped into a brand new convertible in Nice, France. As the car sped off, her long, flowing scarf, her signature accessory and a symbol of her artistic persona, became entangled in the vehicle's open-spoke wheels. The scarf tightened around her neck, pulling her violently out of the car and instantly breaking her neck. In a cruel twist of fate, the fashion that defined her also became the instrument of her demise, leaving the world to mourn a pioneering artist whose full potential would never be realized. This strange and tragic end added a haunting chapter to the legend of Isadora Duncan, forever etching her name in the annals of history. Have you ever heard of the ill-fated expedition of Peter Tessum and Paul Knutsen in 1919? These 2 Norwegian explorers set out on the Maud expedition, led by the famed Roald Amundsen, to traverse the Arctic Ocean. Tasked with delivering critical scientific data back to Norway, Tessum and Knutsen were left to journey through the treacherous icy expanse with limited supplies and no modern communication tools. As the Arctic winter tightened its grip, the men faced insurmountable challenges. Struggling against the harsh elements, starvation, and isolation, they vanished into the icy abyss. Their remains and fragments of their camp were discovered years later, a stark reminder of the perils of exploration in one of the world's most inhospitable environments. The haunting echoes of their last days serve as a testament to the relentless and unforgiving nature of the Arctic, forever etching their names into the annals of tragic exploration history. Have you ever wondered what drives a person to risk everything for a moment of glory? Sam Patch, America's first professional daredevil, was a man consumed by such ambition. Known for his breathtaking leaps from dizzying heights, Patch sought to push the boundaries of human daring. His fame peaked in 1829 when he successfully jumped from the Genesee Falls in New York, captivating the nation. But the allure of danger beckoned him back just weeks later, for a final and fatal plunge. On November 13, 1829, before a crowd of spectators, Patch took his last leap into the abyss. This time, the waters were unforgiving. His body surfaced days later, marking a tragic end to a life defined by audacity. Patch's death serves as a haunting reminder of the fine line between bravery and recklessness, forever etching his name in the annals of daredevil history. Can genius and madness coexist? Imagine being a pioneer in aviation, only to meet a tragic end that seems ripped from the pages of a dark novel. Such was the fate of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the famed aviator and author of The Little Prince. On July 31, 1944, during a reconnaissance mission for the Free French Air Force, Saint-Exupéry's Lockheed P-38 vanished over the Mediterranean Sea. Decades later, a fisherman discovered a silver ID bracelet belonging to him, and parts of his plane were found in the seabed near Marseille. It was a haunting reminder of a brilliant mind lost to the abyss, leaving behind a legacy of whimsical tales and profound reflections on the human condition. What could drive a hero, who once traversed uncharted American wilderness, to a tragic end? Meriwether Lewis, co-leader of the monumental Lewis and Clark expedition, met his demise under mysterious circumstances in 1809. Despite his monumental achievements, Lewis was haunted by depression and financial ruin. On a fateful night at an inn along the Natchez Trace, his life ended by gunshot wounds, suspected to be self-inflicted. Some say it was murder, but the prevailing theory is suicide. This once celebrated explorer, who had mapped the unknown and brought back tales of new frontiers, found himself trapped in a dark, internal wilderness from which he could not escape. What led a pioneering scientist to his mysterious end? Consider the tragic death of Henry Moseley, a brilliant young physicist, who could have revolutionized the field of atomic science. In 1915, at the age of just 27, Moseley volunteered for military service during World War I, despite his invaluable contributions to science. He had already formulated Moseley's law, which redefined the periodic table by atomic number rather than atomic weight, a breakthrough that promised to unlock new realms of chemical understanding. Yet, his potential was cut short when he was killed by a sniper's bullet at the Battle of Gallipoli. Imagine the scientific advancements that were lost with Moseley's untimely death, a poignant reminder of the countless intellectual talents sacrificed on the altar of war. Imagine a brilliant young mathematician poised to revolutionize his field, only to be struck down by a seemingly routine surgical procedure. Galois Évariste, the genius behind Galois theory, was killed not by his intellectual rivals, but by a duel at the tender age of 20. After being shot, he was taken to a hospital where doctors, lacking the advanced medical knowledge of today, failed to properly diagnose and treat his injuries. In his final hours, Galois penned down critical mathematical concepts that would later change the face of algebra. His untimely death serves as a grim reminder of how the combination of medical inadequacies and social conflicts can prematurely end lives brimming with potential. Imagine pioneering the field of aviation only to fall victim to the very skies you sought to conquer. Such was the fate of Franz Reichelt, known as the Flying Tailor. In 1912, Reichelt, a tailor by trade and an inventor by passion, was determined to prove the efficacy of his homemade parachute suit. With unwavering confidence and a crowd of onlookers, he ascended the Eiffel Tower, ready to demonstrate his creation. Despite the bitter cold and mounting skepticism, Reichelt leapt from the tower's first platform. Tragically, his invention failed to deploy, and he plummeted 187 feet to his death. This fatal fall was not just a personal tragedy but a stark reminder of the perilous intersection between human ambition and the relentless forces of nature. What really happened to Edgar Allan Poe in his final days? Found delirious on the streets of Baltimore in 1849, the literary giant was inexplicably dressed in another man's clothes. His condition deteriorated rapidly, and he was taken to Washington College Hospital, where he died 4 days later, never regaining full consciousness to explain his state. Poe's death certificate and medical records were lost, plunging his demise into a realm of speculation and mystery. Was it alcohol poisoning, a violent mugging, or perhaps even cooping, a voter fraud practice where victims were drugged and forced to vote multiple times? To this day, the true cause of Poe's tragic and eerie end remains one of literature's most compelling enigmas. Have you ever heard of the enigmatic disappearance of Glenn Miller, the iconic American big band leader whose music defined an era? On December 15, 1944, Miller boarded a small aircraft from the UK to France to entertain Allied troops during World War II, but he never arrived. His aircraft vanished over the English Channel, sparking endless speculation and conspiracy theories. Was it enemy fire, mechanical failure, or even friendly fire that caused his plane to go down? Decades later, no trace of the aircraft or its passengers has been found, leaving behind a haunting silence where Miller's melodies once resonated. What could turn a routine day at sea into a maritime mystery? Picture this: the iconic aviator Amy Johnson, known for her record-breaking solo flights, finds herself in a desperate struggle for survival. On January 5, 1941, Johnson's aircraft plunged into the icy waters of the Thames estuary under unclear circumstances. Despite her attempts to bail out, she was spotted in the freezing water, clinging to debris. A rescue vessel neared, but as they threw a rope, she vanished beneath the waves, never to be seen again. Was it mechanical failure, navigational error, or something more sinister? The mystery deepens as wartime secrecy and conflicting reports leave her tragic and shrouded in unanswered questions, making her death one of aviation's most haunting enigmas.